Hello, hello. Today's topic, why you don't need to go to music school or have 10 separate courses to become the artist that you want to be. How you doing today? My name is Jess, and today I'm going to show you why you don't need to go to traditional music school to become the artist you want to be. And hi, Bassie, good to see you. Wave to me. See, you're not on my. I'm trying two things. I'm trying to go live on YouTube and Instagram. And if you don't know me, I am Jess. I help adult singers and songwriters sing, write, and accompany themselves confidently so they can share their gifts without spending years or guessing without going back to music school. Hola, hola. Hey, what's up, Leonard? Leonard, long time no see. Good to see you. I just gave you a wave. I am live on YouTube and Instagram today, so we're having a good time. So I'm going to talk about why you don't need to go back to music school if you want to be an artist. And Leonard could probably tell you the same thing. Leonard could probably run this whole live here. But you know, there is a belief, I think it's permeated in like American culture, that school is like the thing that's going to get you the job, it's going to get you the exposure. And in certain times that is correct, in certain industries, but I would say the music industry is one of those industries that it is more important to have connections, it is more important to network, it is more important to have skills that are actually good and you can do your thing than it is to have a degree. And I would argue the music industry is one of the top industries where that is the case. It can be true in a lot of industries. And I think the whole school system is a little bit broken in that sense, where it's like, especially I see artists going to school and they're spending like 40K a semester on their music, and I'm like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Now, I'll share a little bit of my personal story. I got into jazz school, and it was the only program at my school that gave me a jazz vocal and jazz piano program. And I was all set to go. There was only one professor that taught this program, and he also worked at Stanford and a bunch of other, and he was like, had this special program for jazz and vocal and piano. And he's like, okay, you're in, you qualify, see you in the fall. Well, I get there in the fall and I say, where's Professor so-and-so? I'm going to study the program with him. And they say, he died 3 months ago. And I said, okay, then what am I supposed to do now? This is the program that I've been wanting to study. Nobody else teaches this program at this school. And I am going to take out loans for this program. Like I was committed, you know? And so I went to my music mentor, and she said, you know what, Jess, don't take out loans for a program for things that I could teach you. If you wanted to be in community and get to know people, then great. Oh, hey, Saul, good to see you. But don't take out loans for a program that you don't want to take. Why don't you study with me? And so I studied with her, and I pretty much learned everything that I needed to learn. I started teaching voice at 18. I started my business, and I started writing songs and recording. And that's a whole other story that I won't get into now. But the idea was, I did not need to go to school to get the education that I needed to become an artist, to become a coach, to become a teacher. I actually ended up studying with Michael Jackson, Natalie Cole, Stevie Wonder's vocal coach. And I ended up going to Hollywood, and I decided, Hollywood wasn't for me. I wanted a different life, a little bit different than Hollywood. But I still got to study with these great musicians, great coaches, and of excellence, and I did it all while not going to school. I did it all with connections and putting myself out there, and just asking the questions, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Why the broken ladder of musicianship is kind of permeated through our culture, but you don't necessarily need it. I mean, I have a few things written out here, and I'm going to see. But the belief is that you don't need to start over or go to multiple courses to be able to learn how to sing, write, and record your songs. And the modern artist structure is very different than even the structure of 40, 20 years ago. Uh, you don't need semesters, but what you do need is sequencing. You don't need a school, but you do need skill stacking. You do need a system that's going to get you to your goals. And for me, that skill stacking is always starting with singing because that is where I started. And I call it the singing triangle. The singing triangle is your technique, it is your ear training or pitch, and it is your vocal styling. So you've got to get these three things down, this triangle that I teach. The second skill stack is going to be your songwriting. It's going to be lyrical, it's going to be melodic, and it's going to be accompaniment skills. The third triangle is going to be your accompaniment triangle, which is piano or guitar or some kind of instrument education. It's going to be production education, and it's going to be just knowing harmonic parts. Like, how do you create these parts? And so, even though I didn't go to school, I've gotten to learn all these triangles. And on top of that, I've created a system that systematizes your skill stack. So you don't necessarily need to go to school, but you can have classes like this all in one place. And that's why I created my program, Music Mastery Life, and why I think it's so powerful to have a holistic approach. Another example of this is, when I go to the doctor, there is the cardiologist, there's the primary doctor, there's so many different types of doctors, the oncologist. There's so many different types of doctors. And when my sister was 8 years old, she had these headaches that wouldn't go away. So the primary doctor said, just put her on antidepressants. And my mom said, at 8 years old? What do you mean? At 8 years old, she's eight. Like, I don't think it's antidepressants is the answer, but that's all the doctor had as the answer. We ended up going to another doctor who discovered she was very sensitive to gluten. And we took out gluten from her diet. The headaches went away without drugs. And so, as a mom, my mom was very thankful that she really ended up going to a more holistic approach. And so, when I view this, the school system, I see a very like regimented, everything is kind of separate approach. Not all schools, but most of what I've seen. Or the other option is to get an online course that specializes in something. What I love about what I built with Music Mastery Life is all of these coaches have their specialties. I'm not saying a specialized doctor is not important. What I am saying is, isn't it cool that we're all in one place with our specialties, creating a music mastery life or creating our music life together? And so that's what Music Mastery Life is about. It's a holistic approach where we can build these triangles. Now, when I see triangles and I stack them on top of each other, to me, it builds something. And you don't need to be good at Legos to imagine what multiple triangles might build. When I see multiple triangles stacked on top of each other, I see something called a pyramid. So what do you think of when you think of a pyramid? Whoever's here, you can let me know. What do you think of when you think of a pyramid? When you see the old pyramids in Egypt and they are, buried in the sand or kind of like sticking up, what do you think of when you think of a pyramid? So I asked this question at our last workshop, and what people said was architecture. What people said was structure. What people said was longevity. Longevity, resilience. Exactly, Saul. Longevity, resilience, legacy. And so to me, for me and my calling in life, music is not just a thing that, well, it does make me happy. It is a thing that makes me happy. But it is something that I'm investing in to create a legacy. When I think of my music coaching, I think I am investing in my clients to build a legacy, to build their music mastery life, but also to build their legacy. When I invest in my vocal coaching and my songwriting coaching and my leadership development, I am investing in creating a legacy, and music, it just happens to be the part of life that one of the parts of life that makes me come alive. And so that's why I'm here. How do we create a legacy together that stands the test of time? When the sands of doubt are burying your pyramid, do you emerge? Do you create a solution to where you come out of the sand? Or do you let the sand bury you? Right? And that's kind of the idea of what we're doing in Music Mastery Life. So if you're someone that wants to hear a little bit more about this and you're curious on my methods, I'm doing a workshop talking about the singing triangle in particular. I'm going to talk about my power and ease method. I'm going to talk about my pitch perfect path, and I'm going to talk about the vocal vibe or your vocal style technique. And I'm going to touch on these things in a free workshop coming up next Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. PST. It's happening completely free. If you want to save your seat, comment sing below and I'll get you a free seat. Seats are limited as I can only spotlight so many singers. And I'm going to be spotlighting singers live in person. And I'm going to share about how I skill stack, how I triangle stack, and how we get to create our artist pyramid together, or we get to create longevity and legacy together. So if that's you, definitely put sing in the chat and I'll get you your link. A few stories about artists that are winning in this. My client, Nicole, she was going to school part-time and she's also working part-time. And she decided to make room for this in her life. She didn't have all the money in the world. She didn't have all the time in the world. She's a very busy girl, but she chose to dedicate about 6 months of the next 6 months to her craft. What came out of 6 months is her now recording her first album, and she worked on her voice and she worked on her songwriting, and now she's creating her first album. My client Miriam, who didn't actually finish songs before she came to me, and she didn't like her voice. She felt like her voice. She actually had a teacher tell her voice was bad, and she would never be a singer. And now she worked on her voice and her technique. She's working on her style now with our style coach, Monique. Shout out to Monique. And she's also working on her album, her EP, with a Grammy award-winning producer. So what's possible in 6 months if you commit to 6 months of your growth are those things. That's what's possible. But you've got to commit. Like, you've got to invest. You've got to actually put yourself in the situation where there's accountability, and you've got to put some money out there, because where we invest our money is where our energy follows. It's not just me making this up. There's a lot of statistics around this, but where we put our money, our energy follows, our commitments follow. So where are you not investing in yourself, but you want to invest in yourself? Where are you creating legacy and it's going slower than you think? Where are you creating, being stuck? Where are you feeling stuck in your life that you need to invest in? Like, you need to do it. So that's my question to you. There are a lot of different things that we work on as well. In addition to our singing triangle, our songwriting trial, and an accompaniment triangle, there is an artist launching triangle. And so for those of you who are like, I'm not quite ready to launch, right? But I'm ready to make the steps to launch, then Music Mastery Life community is for you. Now, if you're ready to launch and go for your crowdfunding and your marketing and all of that, that's a separate conversation. But for those of you who are ready for you building your skills, that's what Music Mastery Life is for. And the top of the pyramid is your launch. But you've got to have your foundation. So if you are curious about how I break down these triangles, how we build the artist pyramid, I am having a free workshop next week. Comment sing in the chat and I'll get you the link. If you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to put them in the chat below. And we're going to be creating this music mastery life in the meantime. When I'm not on the lives, I'm creating the music mastery life of my dreams. And I hope that you're doing the same. And if you're ready to invest in yourself, if you're ready to take the next step, if you're tired of seeing yourself repeat the same mistakes over and over again, it's time to invest. It's time. All right. So I'll see you next week at the live workshop. I'm going live at 3:30 on Mondays, PST. So I have another live coming up next week, as well as the next workshop on Tuesday. All right. Commenting if you want the link. See you then.